In this exercise, we'll be creating a frame-by-frame animation. That is to say, we're simply going to be moving the object and creating a keyframe every time to reestablish its new properties. And in this case, it's simply going to be a position on the stage. I've already got one finished here. Let me just show you this when playing. I can actually hit my return key, and you can see the playhead moving, and you can see the action on the screen. Now that just plays one time every time I hit my return key. I can also scrub back and forth, of course. But there's a new feature in Animate. I'll just show it to you right now. It's a small little button here, and it's the loop button. So if I turn loop on, you can see that it creates sort of a span up here where the playhead exists. That's what will loop. So if I hit my return key, you can actually see it looping in that area. If I hit my return key again, it stops. So I can actually designate an area to loop, so potentially I can test specific areas, such as that, for example. And again, you'll just see it animate over that specified area. I could put it on the whole thing and just have the whole thing loop as well. But that is your looping feature. That is a new addition to Adobe Animate. And again, I can hit return to stop. If I want to turn the loop off, I simply hit the button one more time. There's your looping. Let me show you another feature that I will use. I'll demonstrate shortly how to create the keyframes. But the onion skin has improved greatly as well. And it's this little button right here. It looks like a box in front of a gray box. And again, it works similarly in that I define what I will see, which frames I will see in this designated area. And the cool thing about this newer addition is if I expand this out, let me just show you here. You see there's a little blue dot on the left. All frames before the playhead will take on that blue color, and they'll fade depending how close they are to the playhead. So the closer they are, the more opaque they become. The farther away they are on the timeline from the playhead, the more transparent they become. And the cool thing is I can actually see what's in front and behind the playhead by the color. So everything on this side of the playhead, on the right of the playhead, will have that green color. And again, the closer it is to the playhead, the more opaque it will seem, or darker it will seem. And that's your onion skin. And I can control the span of what I'm seeing. It can just be a few frames if I want. And it will follow the playhead. So if I want to see the whole timeline, there's my whole timeline. And again, depending where the playhead is, it will dictate what color the onion skinning will appear relative to the playhead. And the red ball, of course, is the live frame that we're looking at, or that the viewer would see. So if I turn that off, then you see it normally. And that's what they would see when you output the file. Okay, so I'll just quickly build one with, say, a half a dozen or a dozen frames. So I'll start a new file here. And we'll just dictate to the action script 3, default size, default frame rate, 24 frames per second. Keep the background color the same. All the default settings. Click OK. And I'll quickly draw another oval or a circle. I'll hold my shift key down to constrain that. And I actually noticed that I was on merge mode. This probably would be better to do it in object mode. So I can either convert this or delete it and do it again. For the sake of, I guess, a refresher, I'll show you how you can actually convert a merge mode element to an object. I first have to highlight it with my selection tool, double click it, and I do need to double click to highlight the fill along with the stroke. So to convert it, modify, combine objects, union. The reason I want it to be an object is when I'm clicking and dragging this thing, I don't want to have to double click each time. It might seem like a little thing, but it's just that much less annoying, if you will. And when I start to animate it, it's a single click and drag. What I'm going to animate in this case, it could be any property, but in this case it will simply be the position on the stage. So to begin the process, I will highlight, I'm going to skip every second frame. I'll go to frame 3, highlight it in layer 1. And the keyboard shortcut for creating a new keyframe is F6. And there we have it there. So once I've created that keyframe, I can move this, and you will see a little ghost of where it previously came from. and let go. So now I have an animation over 2 frames if I drag my playhead back and forth. Let me go another 2 frames here, highlight it, create the keyframe, F6, and drag that a bit further. Now, it would be nice to have some reference, so I will turn on the onion skin. And I'm turning it on, and you can see here how it establishes a very short area. I'm just dragging it all the way to the beginning. And when I create a new keyframe, F6, I'll just drag this down, and I can see, in this case, I can see the 2 preceding keyframes. And I can continually adjust that to see more. But it will stay this distance as I move forward. I'll have to continually increase it if I want to see more. So let's keep going here. 2 more keyframes down, F6. But it sure makes life easier to actually see where it's coming from. I can be a lot more exact in my repositioning instead of having to bounce back and forth all the time between keyframes. Again, I'm going to expand this even more. So we're actually seeing every frame that I've created so far. So that's your onion skinning. You do have the option of making it outline. I actually do like the full colored one, and it's this little button right here, onion skin. So it just toggles on and off with a single click. So for your exercise today, I'd like you to create a frame-by-frame animation and do it over 90 frames. You can skip every second frame, so really you're going to be creating 45 or 46 keyframes for this exercise. And use the onion skin, play with the looping feature if you like, so that ultimately you're going to end up with a file that spans 90 frames like you see here. And again, you hit your return key to play it back. I could go up to Control and Test Movie. I can also just choose Test, and there it is. And as you know, when you use the test method, it actually generates a file and saves it in the same area as the original file exists. So let me just close that and let you create frame-by-frame animation over 90 frames. And that's your first assignment.